You know, I'm right. The podcast that covers the origin stories of some of the biggest names in entertainment, media, reality TV, sports, entrepreneurship, and so much more. Nick Durst here, not with Joe Calabrese right now because this man, he takes his haircuts very seriously. He wanted to impress our guests today with a fresh
Oh,
haircut, but he's
nice.
running late. But it doesn't matter because we got the better Joseph with us anyway right now, and he's joining us at this time. You may have recognized him from Big Brother, the last season, or maybe you've seen him at the video store down in Florida
Yes.
Harbor Video. He is Joseph Rodriguez, and we finally get Joseph on with us. It's been months in the making. We've had most of his castmates on, but finally Joseph gets to join the lore of being on the You Know I'm Right podcast. Joseph, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Nick. Thank you for the intro. Who from my season hasn't done your podcast? Let's call them out.
Let's call him out Crazy Eyes, Matt.
Crazy actor, on? Man.
Crazy Eyes. We have we're waiting for Rabina to get back to us still. Chemo, T-Core, and the Golden Goose, Angela.
Oh, Angela. I could get her on here probably.
Let me know. Angela, I tried to send her an email, but if you go to her Instagram, it just says at gmail.com with no email address. That's typical Angela. I did find her number from her real estate stuff and texted her multiple
Oh,
times, but no answer yet there. But she seemed to have a good time recently on a cruise.
yeah, yeah. She's having fun. She's been going on some excursions, seemingly. So yeah, she's been busy.
Busy girl. I know you're busy as well, but you like to stay plugged in. Yeah, you're doing stuff with work. You're doing some videography, some editing. Obviously, you have the reality stuff. So, what's the first app you're checking on your phone when you wake up?
Oh man, usually Instagram, I gotta say, I'm very guilty of that. I actually like keep track of my usage, and I've been trying to get my usage down. They have like a graph of it, so I've been really trying to. Social media is just so bad for me. But yeah, probably Instagram.
Makes sense. I mean, I think a lot of people do jump right to Instagram, so you're not alone. So
Yeah,
no
yeah, yeah.
news there. So
That's where I get my news too.
yeah,
That's how I stay up there. A lot of news comes on my feed.
a lot of people get their news from social media. So
Yeah.
that's the way it is now. So let's talk about it. I mentioned at the top. What is it like working at Viper Video, one of the few video stores left?
It's a lot of fun. Like I'm a big movie guy, and
Yeah.
honestly, it's just like super relaxing because believe it or not, we're not super busy all the time.
What? Shock.
So, yeah. So like when people come in, it's less like pressure or like whatever than if you're like working in like a bustling like type of business or whatever. At most, you'll have like five or six people in there at once. Um, it does pretty well though, financially speaking, because there's not a lot of overhead, and the people who do come in will purchase a lot of things usually. Because like if there's anything I know about horror fans is that they are willing to spend money on
Mhm.
frivolous stuff.
Yeah.
So they will buy the Jason X 4K that costs like $50. They don't care.
Yeah, so I know you're a big horror guy. That's one of your favorite genres. So if you had to cast yourself with an actor to play you in the Big Brother horror film, who would it be?
I would get Jason Schwartzman comparisons a lot for some reason, which is really cool because that's honestly what I aspire to be that type of like hipster king. So I'll say Jason Schwartzman from Scott Pilgrim and films like that because I get the comparison a lot.
All right, give me some of your other castmates who would play them. You don't have to
Oh
give me
man,
everybody, but if anybody comes to mind.
yeah, yeah. Jim Carrey is obviously Tucker, right?
Tucker. Yep. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll say Pedro Pascal as Quinn. Just do like a really weird choice.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Really let him get into character. Um, man, Jennifer Coolidge is obviously Angela,
Ah,
because of
they're great.
Angela's great impression of her. Yeah, I think that's good for
I
now.
thought you were gonna
Michael
go.
B. Jordan.
I thought you were gonna
Michael
go.
B.
Rick. I thought you were gonna go Rick Moranis for Quinn. But I like Pedro
Oh,
Pascal.
right there, right. Yeah, that's so funny. I actually have a Honey I Shrunk Your Kids poster in my room, so
Hmm.
that's pretty
So you're gonna
funny.
say
Yeah,
Michael B. Jordan for Cam?
yeah. Michael B. Jordan for Cam, since Chelsea loves Michael B. Jordan and she's in
Hmm.
the house. She also, But yeah, so yeah, that would be my fix.
Excellent, excellent. So right now we're gonna be joined by my co-host. So I'm gonna let him in, Joseph. I want you to give him a lot of crap about being late. Say my time is very precious. I don't care if you're getting a haircut or not. You need to be
Uh,
on time next time. So here he
I'll
is.
I'll shame him.
Without further ado, joining us now with his freshly done haircut. It's the worster Joseph Calabrese.
Oh no,
Well,
my fellow Joseph, how are you, man?
I'm good. I gotta shave around over here and just kind of keep this over here, and then I'll be looking more like you.
Why the hell are you late, man? What's going on?
I'm I had to go to the mall for something, so apologies. I'm a few minutes late.
It's okay. My time is very valuable, Joseph Calabrese. So, you know.
Sorry, Joseph Rodriguez. It won't happen again, I promise.
Nick told me to do this, by the way.
Yeah,
This
I
is
know. I
against my
figured. Yeah,
yeah,
I know.
yeah, this is against my will.
I
Yeah,
love
it's
it.
always yeah. It's
So
good stuff.
before you joined us, Joey Cows, we're talking Viper videos. So Joseph, how has you appearing on Big Brother actually helped the video store?
Oh, honestly, like quite a bit. Like you just like looked at the numbers. I'm not saying it was solely because of me, but I do think that word of mouth about the store kind of traveled pretty fast. We had a meet and greet at the video store where it was like me, Tucker, Chelsea, Quinn, Leah, Cedric, and I posted it like the day of, and in my head I'm like, nobody's gonna come to this. And like because we did no advertising really. I just posted on my Instagram stories, and there was like 60 or 70 people
Woo!
like in and out of that place. Like there's never been that many people in there, and there never will be again. But like I think that that kind of thing, like people probably went there and told their cousin, like, "Hey, you like horror movies? There's a place I went to." Like, so I do think that there's a Big Brother effect for sure, which is really cool. And yeah, I always joke with him all the time that he literally owes me hundreds of $1,000s in free advertising.
That is amazing. I mean, you were really pushing them well on the show as well. So you wore that
Yeah, yeah.
ribbon. So how'd you work it out? Obviously, you really can't tell them much to be able to take a leave of absence from the store in order to go on the show.
Yeah, so I actually I had a human resources job at the same time. That was like my real
Oh, so
job.
that was
That
more difficult.
yeah, that was more difficult. I had to quit my job. But that's not as interesting for television, right? So like I did work part-time at so that's not a lie,
Yeah.
but I was literally usually doing it when I was slacking off from my real job. Yeah, so
Human
like
rights.
as soon as I got back from the show, I was like, "Oh man, I'm just gonna beg and grovel for my old job back." And they're like, "No, we're good."
Mm.
And so I found something else. We're fine now. But yeah, I the video store wasn't like my main source of income.
Fair enough.
Right.
So it really worked out for you, basically. Yeah, you got in the show. Viper Video then took off, and you got a new HR job.
Yeah, I mean, I won. That would have been like,
Oh.
but yeah, other than that, yeah, no.
So how's the world of HR like? How'd you get into that initially?
Basically, I worked like part time at the poker room for a long time, doing literally like the easiest job in the world. Like all you had to do was like watch people play poker, and you got like $20 an hour with benefits. Which at the time, when you're like 20 something, you're like, oh, like I never want to leave this job. And eventually, like an HR position opened up, and I had been working there for like a long time, so I applied, and out of like 30 some people in the state, I got it, and just got really lucky in that regard. And then when I came back from the show, they were like, "Oh no, sorry, we realized that we really didn't need you, and that you were slacking off a lot." They said that, but that's my theory at least. But now at that point, I had 5 years at that point of experience in that field, so that looks pretty good.
Now talk about the process of applying for the show. Did you apply
Mhm.
multiple times? Because it seems like people that we've had on the past, usually it's something where, you applied in 23, 24, you got it in 25 or, dating
Yeah,
back. So talk about that and talk about the callbacks and when you really knew that, you could be on the show.
yeah. So basically, I have been a fan. I'm 31 now. I've been a fan since I was like 20, 21. Like big time fan, like listen to all the podcasts, like all that stuff. Um, and so when I was younger, I would like audition like quite a bit, but never heard in anything like ever. And I like by the time I was 23, 24, I was like, I'm not the guy like on the show. There's no way. So I really stopped trying for like a really long time. And then before season 25 came out, at the behest of one of my relatives and my best friend within the same week of each other were both just like, you should try again. Like you should. And for me, I just did it so they would leave me alone. And that like look, like leave me alone, right? I'm not thinking it would go anywhere. I had a beer before my audition. My bio was like unhinged. Came off crazy in the bio I typed up where you're supposed to describe yourself. And got a call for season 25 while I was like hanging out with my family out and about. And like it just snowballed, and it just like it's the casting process is like very much like a video game where it's like the beginning of the it's one boss is like not that hard, and then like the top boss is like it's CBS. Just like what the hell is this? Like what? So I was almost on 25. Um, Season Jag one, obviously, and got cut like very last second. Like the producer told me, like you were going to be on the show. Sorry, and I've never been like that. Like just in my life, I was just, what? You don't know. Like they tell you nice things at the end of it, but you don't know if like you're ever gonna get that close again. And like, what did I do? What did I say to like mess it up? Like I could have, I should have told that story. Blah 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 blah. They did tell me that they were going to call me for the next year, but you don't know. And like then it rolled around again, and I had my first interview with Jesse again. They called me back and everything. I didn't have to spin another tape. And my first interview with Jesse, he asked me, he was like, "So what do you think like about like this time around?" And I was just like, honestly, like I'm kind of like worried that like I'm not gonna get on. Like, I kind of got my heart broken last time. And he just stopped the interview right there and it was like, he's like, "Who is this? This isn't the person from last year. Like, you can't believe that. Like, you have to believe that you're gonna get on this time, that you're gonna like all this stuff." And I was just like, oh my God, did I just fuck this up? Like, like, I freaked out. Like, I texted him the next day. I was like, yo, dude, like, I can do better. Like, I will not And he's like, relax, like, you're fine. Um, and then I flew out to LA, had the interview with like Allison and Rich and like all these people who I've looked at for years and everything like that. And really took the bull by the horns, like grabbed them by the balls and was like, this is why you should put me on this show. Like you're making a huge mistake, like type of like energy. And like after it was done, they were like, dude, shit. Like I was pretty confident after I left that room that I was going to be on the show. And then they like call you and stuff like that. And they're like, hey, like come to the Viper store to film. Can you have them sign these things or like whatever? And you're just kind of like, okay, I'm probably on. Like, if you're coming out and doing all this. So they never tell you explicitly. So in some ways, that key thing is real where they show it to you because they never like
Yeah.
exactly say like you're on the show. But if you're not an idiot, you can
Yeah.
usually
They're
figure it
coming to
out.
film at your hometown. I mean, it's pretty obvious.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Like they're not doing this just to say no. Like this costs money.
Yeah. So you get in the
So yeah,
house. Obviously, everyone viewed you as a big physical threat. So you were like, I'm going to throw
yeah,
competitions. So talk to us
right,
about
yeah.
the strategy there of deciding that, you didn't really necessarily want to go for it in the competitions. And if you wanted to, though, do you think some of those competitions you probably could have had a chance to win?
I think that I think that when you're playing these competitions, there is a difference between like explicitly throwing things and not really caring.
Yeah.
I think that's where like I was in a lot of times where like sometimes I'd be like, oh, if I win this, cool, and I'll figure it out, and then this is what I'll do with it. And if I lose, this isn't so bad either because then I can like do this or like whatever. I never wanted to play the game like having to win things.
Yeah.
I don't think I explicitly threw like as many as like it seemed to like be. A lot of it was just like whatever. Like the first one, I tried my hardest. The second HOH, I tried my hardest. If I literally thought that there was going to be a lot of people to nominate me, then I would try. But
Yeah.
if I didn't think that there was that many, then like whatever. Like you had to nominate three people in my season, so I felt like making three enemies if you win an HOH isn't necessarily the best idea, and that at least kept me off the block for like the first 6 weeks.
Yeah, so you early on, you're
To
in.
answer one of your questions too, if I would have tried my hardest, probably wouldn't have mattered in a lot of them.
You were we thought you were doing a good social game. You were pretty much involved in every discussion. You were aligned with everybody at some point, or one of or
Yeah.
another. But was it you or was it the editing? Like it seemed like you didn't actually ultimately know where you stood in the house with the other house guests, and you were kind of portrayed as like this ultimate floater. Uh,
hmm
how did you feel about the way that portrayal came about? Did you watch the season back after? Did you talk to your family members or friends? How'd you feel about that?
No, I didn't. I haven't watched like the season back. I've seen like enough clips and stuff like that to kind of like know like what my perception was.
Right.
I understand why I got that edit. I think
Hmm.
it's you have a lot of big characters on my season. You have Tucker, you have Angela, you have
Yeah.
Quinn, you have Chelsea. You have like these people who are just like really flashy and stuff like that. Where my type of gameplay just isn't going to get that type of recognition unless like you're watching the live feeds. You're not going to see
Hmm.
that I made the like majority alliance in the House of Collective, that I had this final two with Tucker where he really did have my back, but
Yep.
also had this final two with Quinn, and both my final twos hated each other, but I was able to like get Tucker to like let off Quinn that one week when he used the veto on him. Like they don't have time like to show all that, and like it's probably not as interesting for viewers like the person playing the middle as opposed to the actual faces
Right.
of like each side. So like I get it, but like it doesn't really like the way I feel about it is like I know how I played.
Hmm.
Like I've talked to my cast members afterwards, like I was there or whatever. So like people can have certain perceptions, but like I like the game I played for the most part. I definitely made mistakes, but I can like sleep well at night knowing that most of the time I was in there, I was usually doing the right thing. I think I just got comfortable near the end, which was like ultimately my downfall.
Yeah, you could either play flashy or you could play to win. And I think you were trying to play to win. You weren't necessarily
Exactly.
worrying
Yeah.
about let me make the big moves and the camera time and whatnot. And do you think, I mean, this was the casting I thought of your season was great, but I can't imagine they'd ever top a season where you're having the big personalities of Tucker and Angela together in one season. I mean,
Yeah.
separate those two, they could have carried the show. Together in the house with them, what was that like?
Gosh, dude. Like honestly, I it was very with I think that's why the last week I kind of went off on Angela in that like moment you see on the episode where I'm just like, you're lucky to even be here still. Or I don't even remember what my wording was to her.
Yeah.
I think I said I'm surprised you're still here. But like that was really me after 2 months being like, I'm done with this. Like because like you had to hold your patience, I think, with both of them a lot of times because you didn't want to set them off. Like
Right.
often both of them were in power positions as HOHs. So like
Yep.
you didn't want like I remember that first week just feeling like I'm walking on eggshells with Angela like the whole week. Like any false move, any like weird look, and she'd be like, you know what, I'm putting you up. And like to like play against that. So and with Tucker as well, like even though me and him were super close, there were weeks where I was just like, I don't even know what he's gonna do. And he's like my closest ally here, and that's like a hard thing to navigate. So it was like honestly like super stressful for the most part. But like honestly, before I got on the show, I said that that was the type of cast I wanted to play with. So I got what I wanted. Honestly, I said I would like a cast of crazy people because I feel like people would just forget about me and then like they get rid of each other, and eventually you're like, oh, there's Joseph, he's still there. That was basically my strategy
Right.
throughout the game, which I think could have worked, but Quinn put me
Right.
up that week,
I
and
listen,
yeah,
I think
yeah,
Angela really cost you because not
Cost a lot of
not that
people.
particular week, but when she went against Tucker, because Tucker would have took you, her, Rabina,
mm-hmm.
Chemo, T-Court to the end. You got because
Oh
I
no,
thought, I
dude,
thought
and
Angela and Tucker were just traded HOHs. They would have went
no,
all.
dude, the way I saw it in my head, and like there's another thing too is like I was memorizing the days like crazy in there. Like I knew my days and everything like that. So if something would have popped up like that, I'd feel pretty confident that I would have been in there with a shot at least. And like when we made that Sixth Avenue Alliance, I wanted it to be me, Tucker, and Angela at the end. Like I was like, if that happens, I can maybe convince Tucker to throw one of these parts to me for the HOH, and if not, I feel good about Angela. And then if it's the quiz at the end and it's me and Tucker, he doesn't know these days. He doesn't know he should be studying. Like I feel pretty good that I would be him in that. And then I take Angela to the end, and like I'm not like positive, but like I'm pretty sure enough of the jury just didn't, vibe with her like that. And but it was hard because I could never tell Angela explicitly, like, hey, I have a final two with Tucker. Like, you need to chill out. He's not gonna take us out. Like, I would
Yeah.
like give her hints and stuff like that, but she was always just worried that he wasn't that close with us, that he was closer with them, which I think Rubina might have gotten away, but I definitely would have been over Tico. I would have been over everyone else. I think Rubina would have been the only person
Yeah.
who maybe could have gotten in my way of like going to the end with him. But even in that case, like I'm fine with that. But yeah, I wish Angela that week could have just like chilled out because she was so scared about going out at six, and she still got sick. Like that's like the crazy thing is she flipped and did all this stuff, and she got the same placement that
Same
she was like
place.
afraid of getting by going with the Sixth Avenue. So yeah, it's kind of a bummer.
So we talked about Quinn ruining everything. We talked about
Right.
your shrewd playing the middle.
Mhm.
You know what contributed to your downfall. Was there any particular moment in the house, you look back on, you go back and you say, oh, if this interaction worked differently, if I did this differently, maybe you would have seen the process through and maybe gotten through a little closer to the end?
Yeah, I think like some of the ones I look back on is I don't think I made a good. I think when Quinn told me that he was going to put me up originally, I feel like I didn't really go for broke with him in my like explanation of why he shouldn't put me up as much as I should have. I just thought when he told me that I had no pull with him anymore at that point. I was like, oh, you're like actually against me and nothing I can say. Like that was kind of my mindset at the time, but I think like maybe had I pitched a little bit harder to him, I also it's so gross because literally I noticed I was spending too much time with Leah in the house, so I moved rooms. I was like, you gotta stop like spending so much time with her. So I moved rooms that week in an effort to like separate us a little bit. And in my head, I'm like, man, if I would have been in that room in the morning with Leah, I could have told her right before, like, hey, I did make a pitch to her to not use it, and it was such a good pitch in my head, at least. But I think what my problem was in the game was I was good at it at the beginning, but the longer you're there, the worse you get at it, and it's like tailoring your pitches
Hmm.
to who you're talking to. Like like at the beginning of the game when I was talking to Tucker, I'd like kind of feed his ego a little bit. When I was with Angela, I would like tug at her heartstrings. I would super fan out with Quinn. I was really good at that. And near the end, I was not that good at that. I think like my pitch to Mackenzie was just so wrong, like in retrospect, like being like, hey, Mackenzie, I think I can beat you in the end. So that's why you should work with me. That's gonna work on like a strategic like type of player who's like thinking on those terms, but somebody like her who's like kind of thinking with her heart, I should have been like, I'm okay with losing to you. Like we should go to the end together. Like that should have been like what my pitch was to her. So I think like just those little things like at the end, like the way I pitch things and stuff like that. And I am throwing the veto that week. That was like a big mistake. Even though I was comfortable that the Quinn wouldn't put me up, I should have still just tried to win it myself and kept fate in my own hands. So I'd say those things.
Well, as we know, Mackenzie's vote to evict you is one of the most entertaining single eviction votes in the history of the show. You should
Mm-hmm.
appreciate that as a super fan.
I
But you
do.
mentioned
Yeah.
her, so let's we mentioned her. Let's talk about Leah. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
if the options were you, Quinn, or me for her to date, which of those three options is the best?
I mean, I think that you're like more her type, right? Like you're a little bit more of like this. Like me and Quinn, we're skinny, like you know what I mean. So I feel like
A little more.
you
Joe's
would be
a
more
little more solid.
the yeah, yeah. I feel like
Just a
you'd be
little
the
bit.
chubby. Yeah, I feel
He's
like
eating a
you'd
lot
be
of
the
chicken
chubby
cutlets and
chase.
pizza and pasta.
That's right.
Yeah, yeah. So I'd have to go with the you, Joseph.
Wow, thank you.
I
I
like that.
appreciate that. It's a compliment. Thank you.
There we
Yeah, of
go.
course.
So talking
Yeah.
talking about food, you had a few chefs in the house. Who was the
Yes.
best cook in the house?
Oh man. I'd say Brooklyn or Leah, honestly.
Oh,
Leah, yeah,
Interesting.
oh, Tucker's
yeah,
not going
yeah.
to be happy.
I feel like I didn't eat his cooking as much. I feel like he didn't cook as much as those two, honestly. Like those two would cook like every single dinner we had. So I was like really getting used to their food. Lisa wasn't there super long,
Yeah.
either though her food was good. People gave her too much crap about her food. Her food was very good. But like, yeah, no, they're all talented chefs, but I would probably say Brooklyn or Leah, just because also too they cook things that appeal more to me, like
Hmm.
mashed potatoes, pasta,
Right.
like all that stuff.
Now, Joseph, if you had to cook for the house, what would be your go-to? Peanut butter and jelly for everybody? Like what kind of meal you making?
Cereal, yeah, cereal, yeah. I
Open the
can make
box.
y'all
What
make
kind of
y'all some
milk you want?
make y'all some eggs, like some sick sunny side up eggs. Like,
I
yeah,
know.
we'll be
Nice
good
and
to go.
nice and easy.
I
So
think I cooked like once in the house, like for myself, like in the morning. Like
that's the way
everyone
to do
there
it.
was just so good. Yeah,
The way to do it. So what was it
yeah.
like? You come out of the house, like how did you how long did it take you to adjust to reality? And because you're out and the show's still going on then. So what was that like?
Oh yeah, like that was bizarre. I was honestly, just to be quite frank with you, just super upset when I
Yeah,
got out. Like
definitely.
I'm not the type of person to like act like everything's okay when it's not. Like I was not in a good place. I
You didn't
was
see
super
it, you did
disappointed.
not see it coming.
No, I don't even think that factored into it as much. I think like no matter how I would have lost, I think it would have just ate me up
Sure,
because it meant so much to me, you know.
definitely.
Like yeah, like being blindsided, whatever. But like in the moment, I was kind of like, oh, whatever. But then like when I had time to like sit and think about it, it was upsetting. I didn't watch like any of the episodes like once I was done. Like they're playing like the janky song on stage during the finale, and I'm like, what the hell is this? And
Yeah,
so it was honestly pretty tough for me like afterwards. But I think that like the whole experience and like making it past that and eventually being able to like put it behind you kind of like showed me like how strong I am as a person, honestly, because it is not easy playing that game. And it's certainly not any easier dealing with all the rhetoric that you get about yourself and everything like that when you get out.
for
So
sure. So when you come out of the house, who did
mhm.
you think was going to win?
I thought at the time I left that I thought they'd be smart enough to get rid of Chelsea, honestly,
Mhm.
because like she had won the very literally she had won the very next HOH, and so I was like, oh, like they're gonna get her out the next one, like like come on, like because to me the whole time I was there, it was obvious she was the best player in the game. Like it was like clear from like day five, day like whatever, that she was gonna be the obstacle in my way to like win this game. I knew it like the whole time. So I figured people would pick up on that, and in my head, I felt like somebody like T Core. I thought had a really good chance because I didn't think people would be as threatened by her as a Chelsea, and she'd be able to kind of like slip by. And she had
Mhm.
really good. She was a really big jury threat. Everybody really liked her. I thought Rubina could be like the same type of thing. It seemed like she didn't get that much respect for her game when I got home. When I was in the house, I viewed her as being a super solid player, which didn't seem to be the rhetoric on her when I got out. But like that's kind of how I perceived her at the time, as being like somebody who was doing decent in competitions, was like astute in the game. So I thought those two had a really good chance. I didn't really think that Quinn or Leah had a good chance once I was gone.
Fair enough. So you get home, you get your phone back. What was it
Mm-hmm.
like? Seeing your social media probably was crazy. And also, what was the first time you got recognized in public after the show?
Oh my God, dude. Yeah. So I went on a date like a week, like not even a week, like after, like I just like, because I was like, I need to get over this. Like, I need to get out of the house. Like, I'm in here like stewing, like. So I went out with this girl and we went to this bar and like that was the first time. And
Did she know who you
so
were? Did she know you were on the show?
Oh yeah, yeah. That's like the only reason I got the date. But like yeah. So like I'm like I like for after that, I'd say for the first 5 months, 6 months, I could not go out without at least one person coming up to me and recognizing me. Like if I was like out at a bar or public place, at least one person would be like, "Oh my God." It's like faded now. Like now it's like maybe a couple times a week, if
Sure.
that. But like at the time, it was a lot. But like nobody was like that weird or anything like that. I have one guy come up to me and was like, "Oh, dude, Leah's so hot," and I was just like, Do you want her number? Like, what do you want me to say to that? I don't even know. Like, that's bizarre. But yeah. But everybody else has been pretty cool, and if you ever see me in public, feel free to say hi because I'm always down to talk about it.
Are you in Florida still?
I am. Yeah, I'm in Tampa.
You are in Tampa. I have family in Wesley Chapel. My cousin is closer to St. Pete. He works on the boats down
Well,
there. So if you
Joe,
ever need a
you're gonna have to go to
charter,
Viper Video next time you're down there.
Joey,
yeah, I know.
Joey, hit me up, dude.
Absolutely. Yeah,
We'll
absolutely.
Joseph it up. I'll call Joseph Abden from Miami. We'll
Oh
just like
yeah,
we'll
Yeah.
get
they're gonna
like Joseph
brosif it
trio
up.
going. Yeah, dude, it'll be great.
That's a really good idea. I was about to ask you what's next, but I kind of like that. That's a good idea.
Yeah.
But in terms of, I guess, looking for other opportunities, whether they be, on TV, like doing reality TV stuff, or what else do you have going on coming up next?
Yeah, so I think for me, like when I got off the show, I kind of in some ways like I felt like not chasing that influencer type of thing. I knew I didn't have like the most like followers out of anyone from my I knew I wasn't like a big character. So that wasn't really something I was like super concerned about. And I was like, all right, I don't think this is happening for me. And so really it's just been about kind of like resetting my real life. I feel like not that I had a bad life or anything like that, but I think like being on Big Brother like really made me kind of do some self-assessment and things like that and be like, okay, how can I do better? Like how can I like go about things better in my life to where I, can have like as successful of a future as possible. So I've been working on my video editing skills. I've been just like kind of becoming more organized, kind of growing up a little bit, and that's kind of been more so what I've been like focused on. I don't think I'm going to be the first person they're hitting up to be on one of these shows anyway. Like I wasn't like super like big character or anything like that because kind of like Nick said before, like that wasn't what it was about for me. It wasn't about like trying to parlay this into like a bunch of different things. It was about like winning this one time and being remembered for winning this one time. And even if I don't win this one time, at least I know that all my efforts the whole time I was there was on that rather than like because honestly, sometimes I would think to myself, like, what are you going to say in the diary room today? And then I'd be like, you can't think about that. Like, you need to think about this game. Like, don't even waste thoughts on that. Like, like I was so like about winning like the whole time. I didn't even care. There was actually, I don't even know if I should say this, but whatever. But there was like actually a producer afterwards who told me, he was like, don't you remember one time we called you into the DR and you got mad at us because we were calling you in too much and you told us to like say everything like because they would ask you something about like a certain subject and then they would bring you back in to ask you about the same subject and I'd be like, yo, y'all need to have all these questions in like one thing because I'm like trying to play this game out here.
Yes.
Like you can't be like pulling me away while I'm having a heartfelt conversation with Mackenzie and she's crying. Like we're bonding like right now.
Yeah.
Like which that actually did happen one time where
Wow.
they like pulled me away from like so like that like stuff like that would annoy me. So like I really was just there to like win and not really like make a big like character out of it. So like if this is like my one time on reality TV, I'm just grateful I ever got to do it at all. Like would it be cool to like go on a show? Like of course. Like, but if it never happens to like that's fine because like I'm lucky enough to do it once because I know how many people out there just would die to be on the show. So
It's true. You got a great position. You got a great position to be able to go on the show, and you played the game the way you wanted to. So you don't have to give any regrets in that matter. Now, with the diary room, you did have some good lines though. Were they feeding you some things to say, or is that all the genius of yourself?
I think it depends. I think that in retrospect, at times, I think they knew I was getting cocky, so they would ask me
Yeah, they're
questions.
setting you
So
up.
like,
Yeah.
where I'm like, oh man, they think I'm really good too. And I think sometimes they did, but I think other times they were like, this could go either way. Like
Right.
if this kid is like actually a genius, like he's saying he is, this is gonna be great.
Right. When you
I
were
And
when
think
you were walking through like how great of a game you were playing and how nobody's on to you, like I was like, oh, they
my,
set him up bad for that.
My favorite line I had was, oh my god, it's so much work being the mastermind, which they didn't show until the clip show. But I think that line is like so funny. I don't even care if like I look like an ass or whatever. Like,
they set you up real good for the TV edit. That's for
No,
sure.
no, for sure, yeah. Which you know when you're in there. I knew I was playing a dangerous game. I was like, dude, I was pacing after it was done. I was like, you guys could really make me look like a big idiot, and yeah, they did. But like, I always hated on reality TV when people would like kind of hedge with what they're gonna say. Like, this might be good, or this like I didn't want to be like that. I wanted to be like, if it's working out, it's working out. If I don't think it's working out, I wanted to be very like black and white in that way.
Makes sense. So, in your life, in your
Hmm.
career, or with reality TV, what would you say has been your you know I'm right moment? What I mean by that, it's a time or place you want to pursue something. You ask somebody for advice. They said, Joseph, that's a great idea. Like, don't even bother to do that. It's not going to work out. You were like, you know
Hmm.
what? I'm going to go ahead and do it anyway. And in the end, you'll see why it is that I'm right about this. And I can tell you, I told you so.
Oh wow, that's a good question. I think like um probably going on the show in the first place, I think like was like a big thing, where I was giving up a career that I'd spent a lot of time doing, and just like abandoning your whole life like that is just like an insane thing. And even though it didn't work out in the way I wanted it to, I think like it just gave me such a rich experience that money can't even buy. I really think like it grew me up by like 3 years, just like experiencing it all and like having all these different opinions about you, some that are like wildly untrue, some that you kind of ring some truth to it. And maybe I could work on that a little, And I think that you have to be such like a strong person to endure this whole experience. And it taught me a lot about myself, even though some people would probably say that like doing this type of thing would be crazy.
Well said, Joseph, Broseph, Bro
Joseph.
Rodriguez. It's great. Love that name. We thank you for your time. We really appreciate it. I apologize that I was a little less than 10 minutes late, but I think we got through it pretty good. Appreciate your time as always. And what we do here is we always give our guests the last word. So if there's anything else you would personally like to share or promote for yourself, by all means, go ahead. Where can we find you? And we wish you the best of luck. And I cannot wait to see you down in Florida. Hopefully later this year. I'll let you know in advance.
Joeing it up in Florida.
Oh hell yeah! I would love that, man. For real. But yeah, if you guys want, I have a YouTube channel where I review some of the latest movie releases, and I do it from Viper Video headquarters.
Wow.
So you can check that out on YouTube. It's called Joy Loves Movies. I reviewed The Last Karate Kid recently, which was karate mids, I would say. That joke is also in the review. So if you didn't get enough of that joke, it's there as well. But yeah, you guys can follow me on Instagram and stuff like that. I am like a video editor. I do like short films and stuff like that too. So you can just follow me in the future if any of that stuff pops up on there. But yeah, thank you to all the Big Brother fans out there. Even though I had some very big haters, I also had some very big lovers out there, and I really appreciate the people. I appreciate you guys for like letting me on here, and you guys like covering the show and helping promote it in your own way. And same thing with all the fans out there. It's really appreciated.
Thank you very much, Joseph. We appreciate your time. And that's going to do it here for this episode of You Know I'm Right. For our very special guest, Joseph Rodriguez, and my co host, Joseph Calabrese. I am Nick Durst, and this has been You Know I'm